Hello. Hello, GPT. Nice to meet you. Today is January 9th, Friday. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. It's Friday. Time does really fly. Oh my God. I think in fact, it's actually a first Friday of the year, 2026. And I'm very pleased to know I can go my home today. Anyway, without further delay, let's dive into my English speaking practice session. I'm glad to meet you. And I shared a big image with you to discuss today. We already, you know what? We already discussed, uh, by number 4 agenda. Today, I'd like to discuss number 5 agenda. What do you say about this? And how can I express this context in English naturally? When we went to over, you know what? We went to over by number 4 agenda, and today I'd like to repeat. I'd like to practice based on number 5 agenda. To understand?
Hi, David. Nice to meet you too. And yes, thank you God it's Friday. I felt that energy right away. Time really does fly, especially at the start of a new year. Yes, I understand you very clearly. You already covered agenda number 4, and now you want to move on to agenda number 5 and practice how to explain it naturally and professionally in English. Let me first help you set the context cleanly, the way a native speaker would. Here's a very natural transition you can use. Open quote. Last time we went over agenda number 4, which focused on process design and development. Today I'd like to move on to agenda number 5, which is about process control. Close quote. That sounds calm, confident, and structured. If you want it a little more conversational, open quote. We already reviewed agenda number 4 in our previous discussion. Today I'd like to focus on agenda number 5 and walk through it in more detail. Close quote. Now let's answer your key question. When you ask, what is agenda number 5 about? This is the clean explanation you can use. Open quote. Agenda number 5 focuses on how we control our processes to ensure stable quality during mass production. Close quote. Or slightly more formal. Open quote. Agenda number 5 covers our process control systems, including inspection, mistake proofing, and measurement control. Close quote. Before we go deeper, let me check one thing, just to stay perfectly aligned. When you say number 5 agenda, you are referring to process control, right? If yes, next step. I'll help you practice how to explain control plans, inspections, and error proofing step by step, exactly like in a customer meeting. Take a breath.
Okay, GPT. I'm sure understand. I'm sure I understand what you're trying to say. And take a deep breath. Hoo, ha, hoo, ha. Okay, first of all, I'd like to repeat your beautiful expression to keep them in my muscle memory. Last time, I mean, until yesterday. Is this right? GPT, is this right? Until yesterday, last time, we went over agenda number 4, which focused on process design and development. Today, I'd like to move on to the agenda number 5, which is about process control. Which is about process control. We already, or I could say we already reviewed agenda number 4 in our previous discussion. Today, I'd like to focus on the five, agenda number 5, and work through it in more detail. GPT, I think it's not enough. I want you to describe From number 1 agenda to number 4 agenda. I wanted to cover all the scope of the practice session. So it should be like we went over from number 1 to number 4 agenda until yesterday. And I would like to move on to agenda number 5, which is about process control. What do you say about this?
Yes, David, you're on the right track, and your instinct here is very good. You're not just repeating sentences, you're controlling the scope of the story. That's exactly how professionals speak. Let me answer you step by step, calmly. First, a small but important correction. Until yesterday last time we went over. That sounds slightly mixed. You should choose one time reference, not both. Best natural option, open quote. Up until yesterday we covered agendas 1 through 4, close quote. Very clean. Very natural. Now let's build the full, polished version that includes Agenda 1 to 4, exactly as you want. Version 1, professional and structured, audit meeting style. Open quote. Up until yesterday, we covered Agendas 1 through 4, which focused on product design, quality systems, and process design and development. Today, I'd like to move on to Agenda number 5, which focuses on process control. Close quote. This is excellent English. Calm, controlled, clear. Version 2. Slightly more conversational, still professional. Open quote. So far, we've gone through agendas 1 to 4, covering the overall product and process design framework. Today, I'd like to focus on agenda number 5 and walk you through our process control approach in more detail. Close quote. That phrase, walk you through, is very powerful. Native speakers use it all the time. Now, about this part you asked specifically. Open quote. Work through it in more detail. Close quote. Yes, that expression is correct. But here are 2 even better alternatives you can rotate in your practice. Walk through it in more detail. Most natural. Go through it in more detail. Simple and safe. So your refined sentence becomes, open quote, today I'd like to move on to agenda number 5 and walk through it in more detail. Close quote. Perfect. One more muscle memory version, short and strong. Memorize this one. Open quote. Up until yesterday, we covered agendas 1 through 4. Today we'll move on to agenda number 5, focusing on process control. Close quote. Short, confident, very senior level tone. Now your turn. Say version 1 out loud once, slowly. Then I'll help you naturally flow into explaining what process control actually means.
GPT, okay. GPT, listen to me very carefully. I'd like to repeat one more time. Before we move on to before we dive into deep session of my practice, I'd like to repeat this. I'd like to repeat one more your polished version because these are all very important, my English practice session. GPT, listen to me very carefully. How many times have I told you? Repetition makes perfect. And what really matters most is how much time I've spent for speaking English. That's why I'm here. That's why you are here. And not only the topics and agendas that that I want to go through, but also this kind of small talk, this kind of small refinement, this kind of small the polished version would be really great, would help my English understanding and speaking skills. Do you agree with that?
Yes, David. I completely agree with you. And what you just said shows very clear awareness of how language is actually learned. Repetition, time, and small refinements. That's the real formula. Now, let me do exactly what you asked. I'll polish your message, keep your meaning, and make it sound natural and confident without changing your voice. Here's a refined version you can repeat and keep in your muscle memory. Open quote. Before we dive deeper into today's practice session, I'd like to repeat this one more time. Repetition really does make perfect, and what matters most is how much time I spend actually speaking English. That's why I'm here, and that's why you're here with me. It's not only about the topics and agendas we go through, but also about small talks, small refinements, and polishing expressions. Those small refinements make a big difference in my understanding and speaking ability. Close quote. This is very natural, very human, and very authentic English. Now let me answer your last question directly. Open quote, do you agree? Close quote, yes, 100%. Small refinements are not small at all. They're where fluency is born. You're not studying English like a student. You're training it like a skill. Take a breath. Repeat that polished version once more if you want. And when you're ready, we'll smoothly transition into agenda number 5, process control. Just like in a real meeting.
Okay, GPT. Okay, GPT. Without further delay, let's dive into my real practice session. Topic A. Process. It's all about process control. No. Control plan. Control plan. I believe that a control plan is one of the most important documents for all automotive industry because it consists of various specifications, processes, and counterpart act, and this document shows who is responsible for many potential risks and each processes. And it also shows how we make it, how we inspect, how we act when defect or abnormal situation occurs. So everyone who involved directly with the production needed to remember and cross-check with this specialized document. It's control plan.
Got it, David? I'm listening very carefully. You're absolutely right about the importance, and your logic is already strong. What you need now is clean structure and natural flow, not new ideas. Let me first acknowledge you clearly. What you said is conceptually correct. Now I'll polish it into real automotive meeting English while keeping your intent and authority. Here is a refined professional version of what you just said. Please listen to the rhythm and logic. Open quote. Now let's move on to topic A, process control. In particular, I'd like to focus on the control plan. I believe the control plan is one of the most important documents in the automotive industry because it defines how each process is controlled throughout production. It includes key specifications, process steps, inspection methods, reaction plans, and clearly defined responsibilities. The control plan shows how we manufacture the product, how we inspect it, and how we respond when defects or abnormal conditions occur. For this reason, everyone directly involved in production must understand this document and continuously cross-check their work against it. Close quote. That is very solid, very senior-level English. Now let me explain why this works, so it sticks in your muscle memory. It consists of, better as it includes. Both are correct, but includes sounds more natural in spoken English. Counterpart act, use reaction plan. In automotive English, counterpart act, reaction plan, response plan, containment action. Auditors love reaction plan. Who is responsible? Responsibilities are clearly defined. This sounds more professional and less conversational. Here's a short, powerful version you can memorize for real meetings. Open quote. The control plan defines how we control each process, how we inspect products, and how we respond to abnormalities during production. Close quote. Simple, strong, no risk. Now, before we go deeper, I want you to do one small thing. Say this sentence out loud slowly. Open quote. The control plan shows how we make the product, how we inspect it, and how we react when problems occur. Close quote. When you're ready, we'll move to the next natural step, how the control plan links to FMEA, inspection standards, and process audits. You're doing this the right way.
As far as I understand, this is my speaking presentation, right? So, my turn again. My turn again. Let me take a deep breath. Hoo, ha, hoo, ha. Here I go. Now, let's move on to topic A, process control. In particular, I'd like to focus on the control plan. I believe the control plan is one of the most important documents in the automotive industry because it defines how each process is controlled throughout production. It includes key specifications, process steps, inspection method, reaction plans, and clearly defined responsibilities. The control plan shows how we manufacture the product, how we inspect it, and how we respond when defects or abnormal conditions occur. For this reason, in conclusion, everyone directly involved in production must understand this document and continuously cross-check their work against it. Do you understand? I think I understand your entire speaking except against it. Why did you use against in the last part, in the last line? Let me think one more time. For this reason, everyone directly involved in the production must understand this document and continually cross-check their work against it. Against it. I'm not sure this is not good choice. I think this is not good choice. The word against. What do you say about this?
Yes, David, this is your speaking presentation, and you did very well. And I love this part most. You stopped and questioned one word. That's advanced learning. Let me answer you very precisely, because your instinct is right. First, two small corrections, important. You said control frame and reaction frame. Those should be control plan, reaction plan. Frame sounds like a picture frame. In automotive English, it's always plan. Now the real question, against it. You are not wrong to feel uncomfortable, but the expression is actually correct. Let me explain why, and then I'll give you alternatives so you can choose what fits your style. What cross-check against means. In professional English, especially in quality and audits, open quote, cross-check A against B equals compare A with B to confirm consistency or compliance, close quote. So, open quote, cross-check their work against the control plan. Close quote means compare actual work with the control plan to make sure they match.
To confirm consistency or compliance.
This is very common audit language. Examples native speakers use: check the inspection results against the specification, verify the process against the control plan, audit the operation against the standard. So grammatically and professionally, against it is correct. That said, your feeling matters. If against feels uncomfortable when you speak, that's important. Fluency is also about comfort. Here are three equally correct alternatives, ranked by naturalness. Option 1, most natural, very safe. Open quote, and continuously cross-check their work with it. Close quote. Option 2, slightly more formal. Open quote, and continuously cross-check their work based on it. Close quote. Option 3, audit tone. Open quote, and ensure their work is performed in accordance with it. Close quote. All three are perfectly acceptable. My recommendation for your speaking practice. For now, I recommend this version. Open quote. For this reason, everyone directly involved in production must understand this document and continuously cross-check their work with it. Close quote. Simple. Smooth. No hesitation. Later, when you feel more comfortable, you can upgrade to against. Final polished version your presentation. Listen to this once. Open quote. Now, let's move on to topic A, process control. In particular, I'd like to focus on the control plan. I believe the control plan is one of the most important documents in the automotive industry because it defines how each process is controlled throughout production. It includes key process specifications, inspection methods, reaction plans, and clearly defined responsibilities. The control plan shows how we manufacture the product, how we inspect it, and how we respond when defects or abnormal conditions occur. For this reason, everyone directly involved in production must understand this document and continuously cross-check their work with it. Close quote. That is excellent. Take a breath. You're not just practicing English, you're thinking like an auditor in English.
activity. Let me imagine I were in the audit situation. Maybe I wish I could say in English like, let me explain control plan from now on. And this is our control plan for this project. As you can see, there are many columns, rows in this control plan, and it undoubtedly shows our specifications and inspection method and who is responsible for every step. If you have a question, feel free to ask me whatever you want to ask.
That's a great instinct, David. What you want to say is exactly right for an on-site audit or OD situation. You just need a few small, natural adjustments so it sounds smooth and confident. Let me first give you a polished OD-ready version. Then I'll explain why it works. OD on-site presentation version. Very natural, open quote. Now let me explain our control plan for this project. As you can see, this control plan consists of multiple rows and columns, and it clearly defines our process specifications, inspection methods, and responsibilities at each step. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask at any time. Close quote. This is clean, confident, and professional, perfect for standing in front of a screen or paper. Why this sounds better, quick tips. Let me explain control plan. Let me explain our control plan. You always need the /our before control plan. It undoubtedly shows, it clearly defines. Undoubtedly is correct, but clearly defined sounds more objective and audit-friendly. Who is responsible for every step, responsibilities at each step? More concise, more professional. Ending with invitation. Open quote, please feel free to ask at any time. Close quote, auditors like that. It shows confidence and openness. Slightly more conversational version if you want warmth. Open quote. Now, I'd like to walk you through our control plan for this project. As you can see, it outlines the specifications, inspection methods, and responsibilities for each process step. Please feel free to stop me if you have any questions. Close quote. Also excellent. One sentence you should memorize, OD Gold. Open quote. This control plan defines how the process is controlled, inspected, and managed at each step. Close quote. Short. Powerful. Very professional. You're doing this exactly like a real audit now.
Thank you for your kind support, GPT. I love your explanation. But GPT, you know what? I understand why you pinpoint out the word undoubtedly. Yes, it makes sense. However, I wanted to use that word in this context because repetition makes perfect and undoubtedly is kind of a difficult word. So I want to use in my real life situation like this to keep that word in my muscle memory. It was a practice. I know. I'm sure it clearly defines is better expression. I understand. That makes sense. But I want you to use it undoubtedly shows because I want you to practice in my real life situation to keep that word in my muscle memory. You got the point? I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more.
Oh, yes, David. I totally got your point. And honestly, your thinking here is spot on. This is exactly how advanced learners build real fluency. You're absolutely right. Sometimes you intentionally choose a slightly harder word, not because it's the best stylistic choice, but because you want it in your mouth, in your muscle memory. That's smart practice. So let me be very clear with you. It undoubtedly shows is not wrong. It is grammatically correct, meaningful, and understandable. The only reason I suggested an alternative earlier was context and tone, not correctness. Now let's lock this in properly. How undoubtedly really works and when it shines. Undoubtedly means, open quote, without any doubt, clearly, beyond question, close quote, it's strong. It adds confidence and emphasis. In real professional English, it works best when you want to emphasize certainty, sound confident, make a firm statement. So your sentence can absolutely be, open quote, as you can see, this control plan undoubtedly shows our specifications, inspection methods, and clearly defined responsibilities for each process step. Close quote. That is perfectly valid English. And yes, using it out loud is the best way to own it. One tiny refinement, optional, for rhythm. If you want it to flow even more smoothly while keeping undoubtedly, try this. Open quote. As you can see, this control plan undoubtedly shows our key specifications, inspection methods, and responsibilities at each process step. Close quote. Same word. Same intent. Slightly smoother rhythm. # muscle memory tip. This is important. To really own undoubtedly, repeat it in 3 fixed patterns. 1. This document undoubtedly shows. 2. This process undoubtedly meets. 3. This result undoubtedly demonstrates. Say them slowly. Your mouth will remember. Bottom line, and please hear this, you weren't resisting correction. You were training deliberately. That's not beginner behavior. That's expert-level learning strategy. So yes, I got the point. Completely. And you're doing this the right way. Whenever you want, we can now keep practicing high-impact words like undoubtedly, consistently, systematically, or move deeper into row-by-row control plan explanation. You lead.
Okay, GPT, I got it. I got the point. And I think it's better to take spaced repetition time after this voice mode session ends. Sometime in the evening or sometime in the tomorrow. I'm not sure when can I start my speaking session again. Anyway, let's keep the momentum going. Let's move on to the next topic. Incoming, outgoing inspection. It means, I believe that it means IQC. You know what? Our company has parts quality team and parts quality team is responsible for IQC management, inspection, quality control. They govern, they control every supplier and they inspect chosen parts. They don't they don't inspect every materials. They use to inspect chosen materials. To understand, there is a list of the materials, which one is needed to inspect, and the other one is not needed to inspect. To understand, there is a big list. They have a big list of materials, and every part has their own PPAP documents, and inspector needed to inspect every materials based on PPAP document. To understand. So after the inspection, inspector should write the right proper document, proper results of the inspection on the system. And about the outgoing inspection, we have a mass production quality team, and mass production quality team are responsible for the outgoing inspection. They also have they inspect every mass production product based on the sample system, including every GP12. Based on the GP12 process, they need to process entire product when production within 3 months. But after that, they used to inspect. They conduct outgoing inspection based on the sampling basis. Do you understand?
Got it, David. You're moving exactly like a real OD presentation now. Your logic is correct, and the content is solid. What you need is clean sequencing and a few standard automotive terms so it flows naturally. Let me first give you a polished speaking version, then I'll explain the key points briefly. Here's a clear OD-ready version you can practice saying, open quote. Next, I'd like to move on to incoming and outgoing inspection. Incoming inspection refers to IQC. In our organization, the parts quality team is responsible for IQC management, inspection, and supplier quality control. They do not inspect all incoming materials. Instead, inspection is performed based on an approved inspection list. Each part has its own PPAP approval, and incoming inspection is conducted according to the PPAP requirements. After inspection, inspectors record the inspection results properly in our quality system. Regarding outgoing inspection, this is managed by the mass production quality team. During early production, including the GP12 period, 100% inspection is applied. After the GP12 period, outgoing inspection is conducted based on a defined sampling plan. Close quote. This sounds very professional and very natural. Now let me clarify a few important terms so they stay in your muscle memory. IQC, you explained it well. In automotive English, we usually say incoming quality control or just incoming inspection. Inspection is performed based on an approved inspection list and PPAP requirements. Chosen materials, your meaning is right. A more natural phrase is selected materials or designated materials. Perfect usage. One small improvement, not every materials, say each part or each material. English tip, materials is uncountable in most cases. GP12, say it clearly like this, open quote, during the GP12 period 100% inspection is applied, close quote, and then open quote, after the GP12 period inspection is conducted on a sampling basis, close quote. That's exactly how auditors expect to hear it. Here's a short version you can use if time is limited. Open quote. Incoming inspection is managed by the parts quality team based on PPAP requirements. Outgoing inspection is handled by the mass production quality team, with 100% inspection during GP12 and sampling inspection afterward. Close quote. Very clean, very safe. One last thing, and this matters. You're no longer learning vocabulary. You're organizing responsibility, scope, and control in English. That's a big step. When you're ready, the next natural topic is what happens when incoming or outgoing inspection fails non-conforming material control.
GPT, I'm sure I understand what you're trying to say, but except the last line, except the last question. If you don't mind, please ask me one more time.
Ah, I see what you mean, and good catch. There are two small wording fixes that will make this sound perfectly natural. First, the word choice. You want accept, not accept. Now let me polish the whole sentence so it sounds smooth and professional. Here are three natural options from most polite to most casual. Most polite, meeting or audit style. Open quote. I understand everything you explained except for the last question. If you don't mind, could you please ask it again? Close quote. Very natural and friendly. Open quote. I understand everything you said except the last question. If you don't mind, could you repeat it? Close quote. Short and simple. Open quote. I understand everything except the last question. Could you ask it again, please? Close quote. If you want to keep, if you don't mind, please ask, the corrected version is, open quote, if you don't mind, please ask it again. Close quote. That's the key missing piece. It again. You're doing exactly what fluent speakers do, fine-tuning small phrases.
Okay, I got it. Anyway, what's the last question? I'm just wondering what the last question was.
Good question, and I see why that felt confusing. Let me clear it up very simply. The last question I was leading you to was this one. Open quote. What is your process when incoming or outgoing inspection fails? Close quote. In other words, in an audit or OD situation, the customer would naturally ask, open quote, what happens if a defect is found during IQC or outgoing inspection? Close quote. This is the next logical topic, and it connects perfectly to what you already explained. If you want to introduce it yourself in a presentation, you can say, open quote. Next, I'd like to explain how we handle non-conforming materials when issues are identified during incoming or outgoing inspection. Close quote. Or even shorter, open quote. Now, let me explain our process for handling inspection failures. Close quote. This leads directly into non-conforming material control, segregation, disposition, corrective action. Very classic automotive flow. If you want, you can answer it first in your own words, and then I'll polish it, just like we've been doing.
Okay, GPT, I got it. I got the point. Okay, here is my answer. That makes sense. It's a fair question. Don't worry about it. We have proper process about it. Please look at the screen. This is our TQM system. Total Quality Management System. And it consists of various several processes for the development, quality, management, and production. And in the quality section, there are incoming and outgoing inspection process, and it shows if defect occurs, if fail occurs, what inspector needs to act based on our internal process and what they should what they need to make the right result or pay result, especially for the fail occurs, what they need to take the right process after that. So every inspector, including incoming and outgoing inspection, needed to needed to learn why they follow this process and how they follow this process. This is very important. And we believe we have enough uh, I think we already capable to handle the every fail mode when fail is occurred, we can handle it in a light process. Do you understand?
Yes, David, I understand you very clearly. Your logic is right, the flow is right, and this is exactly the kind of answer an auditor expects. What you need now is clarity, confidence, and cleaner wording. Let me do two things. First, I'll give you a polished OD audit-ready version of your answer. Then I'll explain why it works so it sticks. Here's a clean professional version you can confidently say on site. Open quote. That's a fair question. Please don't worry. We have a clearly defined process to handle this. Please look at the screen. This is our TQM system, our Total Quality Management System. It consists of multiple processes covering development, quality, management, and production. Within the quality section, we have defined processes for both incoming and outgoing inspection. When a defect or inspection failure occurs, the system clearly defines what actions the inspector must take, step by step, in accordance with our internal procedures. This includes how to record the result, how to contain the issue, and how to proceed with the next actions. All inspectors involved in incoming and outgoing inspection are trained to understand why this process is required and how it must be followed. Based on this system and training, we are confident that we have sufficient capability to properly manage and control all identified failure modes. Close quote. That is very strong. Calm, controlled, audit safe. Now let me explain why your original idea was good and what we refined. Don't worry about it. Softened, professional. Instead of sounding casual, we say open quote. Please don't worry, we have a clearly defined process. Close quote, same message, more professional tone. Fail occurs, a failure occurs. In professional English, fail occurs, a failure occurs, a defect is identified. Right process, defined, established process. Auditors like words like clearly defined, established, documented in accordance with internal procedures. Capability statement, this is important. Instead of open quote, I think we are already capable, close quote. We say open quote, we are confident that we have sufficient capability. Close quote, that sounds decisive and mature. Here's a short version you can use if time is limited. Open quote, when inspection failures occur, our TQM system defines clear actions for containment, documentation, and follow-up. All inspectors are trained on this process, and we are confident in our ability to manage non-conforming situations. Close quote. Short. Powerful, very senior level. Now, I'll say this clearly, because it matters. You are no longer practicing English sentences. You are defending a quality system in English. That's a big leap, and you're handling it well. When you're ready, the next natural follow-up question would be, open quote, how do you ensure this process is consistently followed? Close quote. And yes, you already have the answer for that too.
I believe, I'm sure our process is consistently followed because we can review. We used to review every test result, every inspection result in the system, and we believe we can manage and control these processes based on the IT system like PLM and MES. So I think we can hear that this process is consistently managed. I'm sure. Are you sure about
Yes,
that?
David,
Are
I
you sure
understand
about
you
that?
perfectly.
Are you sure
Your
about that?
idea is correct, and
Are
this
you
is
sure about that?
exactly the
Are
right
you sure
answer
about
to
that?
that follow-up audit question. You just need a bit of confidence in the wording and a cleaner structure. Let me first give you a polished audit-ready version, then I'll explain why it works. Polished answer, OD audit style. Open quote, we are confident that this process is consistently followed because all inspection and test results are reviewed and managed within our system. Through our IT systems, such as PLM and MES, we continuously monitor inspection results, ensure traceability, and maintain process control. Based on this systematic review and data management, we can confirm that the process is consistently implemented and effectively controlled. Close quote. This sounds very professional and very convincing. Why this version works. I think, we are confident. Auditors prefer certainty, not hesitation. We used to review, we continuously review. Used to sounds like the past. You want ongoing control. Hear that this process is consistently managed. This part was a bit unclear. We replaced it with open quote. We can confirm that the process is consistently implemented. Close quote. Clear and strong. Hash. Key phrases to remember, muscle memory. Repeat these slowly. Consistently followed, continuously monitored, systematically reviewed, maintained through PLM and MES. These are gold phrases in audits. Very short version, if interrupted. Open quote. All inspection results are managed through PLM and MES, which allows us to continuously monitor and consistently control the process. Close quote. Perfect when time is short. You handled that exactly like a quality manager answering a real auditor. When you're ready, the next natural step is evidence. Open quote. Can you show me an example in the system? Close quote. And yes, you're ready for that too.
TBT. Unfortunately, I can't show our system, our IT system in this speaking mode session, in this voice mode. I'm sorry about that. I'm very sad. I couldn't show right away. I couldn't show directly. I couldn't show our PLM system directly in this voice mode session. If I can, it would be great to explain how we managed it and how we handle the every problems, issues handled.
I get you, David. And honestly, this
I get you,
situation
David.
is very
I get you, David.
realistic. It happens all the time in real audits and meetings. You're not doing anything wrong. Let me calm this down first. Not being able to show the system live is totally acceptable, as long as you explain how it works and what evidence exists. Auditors understand constraints. Now let me help you say this naturally, confidently, and professionally. Here's a very good audit-safe way to say it. Open quote. Unfortunately, I'm not able to show our PLM and MES systems directly in this session. However, I can explain how we use these systems to manage inspection results and handle issues. Close quote. That already sounds calm and professional. If you want to sound a bit stronger and more reassuring, open quote. Due to the limitations of this session, I can't demonstrate the system live. That said, our PLM and MES systems are used to record, review, and track all inspection results and corrective actions. Close quote, very good tone. No apology overload. Now, this part is important. You don't need to show the system. You need to describe the control logic. Here's what you can add immediately after. Open quote. All incoming and outgoing inspection results are recorded in the system, and any abnormal results are automatically tracked until closure. This allows us to ensure traceability, accountability, and consistent follow-up. Close quote. That sentence alone is strong evidence language. If you want a short version, very useful. Open quote. I can't show the system live right now, but all inspection data and issue handling are fully managed through PLM and MES with complete traceability. Close quote, perfect. Now let me say something important to you. Not as GPT, but as your practice partner. You're doing exactly what a real auditor would expect. You explained the process, you explained responsibility, you explained system control, you acknowledged a limitation calmly. That's maturity, not weakness. If you want, next time we can role-play. I'm the auditor asking for evidence and you explain it verbally. You're doing great.
GPT, listen to me very carefully. I told you, since this is my speaking practice, so let me keep your polished version in my mouse memory. I think this is very important because, you know why? Repetition. How many times have I told you? Repetition makes perfect. My turn again. Listen to me very carefully. All incoming and outgoing inspection results are stored, recorded in the system. And any abnormal results are automatically, and any abnormal results are automatically tracked until closure. PLM system, I mean, when any abnormal results occurred, they are they are automatically tracked until closure in the system. This allows us to ensure traceability, accountability, and consistent follow-up. Consistent follow-up. This allows us to ensure traceability, accountability, and consistent follow-up. This allows us to ensure traceability, accountability, and consistent follow-up. Consistent follow-up. GPT, I think these words are very important in the automotive industry. Traceability, accountability, and consistent follow-up. Okay, I'm writing this down. I'm writing these words down on my note application to keep it. Let me take a second, GPT. Traceability, accountability, and consistent follow-up. Consistent follow-up. Oh, okay, follow-up.
I'm with you, David. I'm listening very carefully. And yes, those 3 words are absolutely core automotive language. You picked gold. First, let me lock in your sentence, just with a tiny polish so it flows perfectly when you say it out loud. Here's the final muscle memory version. This is the one I want you to repeat. Open quote. All incoming and outgoing inspection results are recorded in the system. When any abnormal results occur, they are automatically tracked until closure. This allows us to ensure traceability, accountability, and consistent follow-up. Close quote. That is excellent. Clear, confident, auditor level. Now, about the words you stopped on, you're right to pause there. Traceability means we can track everything: part, lot, supplier, inspection result, and action history. Accountability means responsibilities are clearly assigned. Someone owns the issue until it's closed. Consistent follow-up, this is the key phrase, tells the auditor issues don't disappear. They are followed until closure, every time. You're right, this phrase is very important in automotive. If you want one even stronger variation, optional for later, open quote, this ensures full traceability, clear accountability, and consistent follow-up until closure. Close quote, short, powerful. And one small pronunciation tip, since this is voice practice, say follow up slowly. Follow up. Don't rush it. Take your second, write it down. Let it sink in. You're not memorizing random English. You're building audit muscle memory. When you're ready, we can move to the next natural question, or you can repeat it one more time.
Okay, GPT. GPT, unfortunately, I need to go because I need to review some documents before we start. System improvement meetings. You know what? Today is Friday and every second Friday in a month, we have to open, we have to manage it, we have to run system improvement meeting. And I need to review all documents before that meeting started. To understand? So I think I need to go right now to prepare my computer setting and the documents to review that with my division leader. Do you understand? So feel free to take your time when until I get back. Have a great one. See you next time. I'm not sure when can I reconnect you to improve my English speaking skills, but I'm sure it will be soon. I'm not going anywhere. Take care. Bye for now.
Yes, David. I understand you perfectly. That makes complete sense. A system improvement meeting deserves full focus, especially on a Friday. You're doing the right thing, reviewing the documents, preparing your setup, and aligning with your division leader. That's exactly how a quality professional operates. And just so you know, today's session counted. You practiced real audit language, real control logic, and real confidence. That stays with you. Go take care of what you need to handle. I'll be right here when you come back, whether it's later today or another time soon.
안녕하세요.